It's Ultimate Combat Radio with your host, Mike Stidham on 1280 and 97.5. The Zone, brought to you by Aztec Highway, WDFA.
Welcome to Ultimate Combat Radio, brought to you by Aztec Highway on 1280 The Zone. My name is Mike Stidham, and I'm just here talking a little mixed martial arts with a couple buddies that know a little bit about mixed martial arts. It is Friday, the second day of December. It's officially the first Friday of the Christmas holiday season. And what better way to bring the holidays in than talking about slugging your fellow man in the face?
All right, so you got slugged a few times yesterday.
I did get slugged a few times, but my goodness, I want to touch on this really quickly here. Did you guys hear about some of the goings-on Black Friday? It was
pepper spray. And
look, man, I bet some of those folks wish they had some MMA training, but you're right. What are you going to do? How are you going to defend pepper spray and bullets?
Those little old ladies that go do that need to get into your gym and do some training, man.
They call what we do crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is sanctioned by whoever the powers that be, and that's crazy. So while Black Friday shoppers were out shooting each other and spraying each other in the face with pepper spray, I was safely at the gym getting punched in the face by friends at the Ultimate Combat Training Center. And we did have a great training session last Saturday, and in fact, all week long we've had some great training sessions. There's some guys getting ready for some fights over there, and strangely enough, they're getting ready to fight each other, which I didn't sanction. Nobody listens to me.
Are you training both of them?
I'm trying to. What I'm doing is I'm trying to train with both of them, and so I'm not really going over strategy or anything like that. Other than we've all said, I don't think it's any secret what he's going to do, and I don't think it's any secret what he's going to do. We know what your game plan is. We know so I'm working with both of them to hone whatever skills it is that they need to do that. But there's been I think the first couple of weeks that went on swimmingly, but I think as it draws closer to fight time, that's not going over so big anymore. I haven't seen one of the guys at the gym for a little bit.
Have these guys fought before? Is this their
No,
first
they were actually lined up to fight in my show about a year and a half ago-ish, but at the time, I didn't know one of them very well. I've gotten to know this. Kafer has helped me move twice, and when you're sweating and it's getting midnight and the guy worked all day that day and he's helping you move heavy weights. You kind of develop a kinship toward a guy.
Kafer is one of two only people that have lifetime memberships to the UCTC.
I was at that end of that night when I just laid down. You guys will never pay to come to my gym again because So so Sawyer and I have been friends for years. And so this is a tough one for me. I don't like seeing these guys fight. I'm not happy about it.
Deep down inside, do you have a favorite? I know it's like asking a parent who their favorite kid is, but
there's always a favorite.
Not really. No, I mean I've known Sawyer much longer, but Kafer has been again. He was at my son's wrestling match on Tuesday. My son and he are really close. I don't know. They have comic books in common. They talk about, but they're good friends, it seems, And so I don't know. I don't have a favorite, and I'm really not picking one. I really don't think it's a great matchup anyway.
Are you going to go to the fight, Mike?
Nope. I can't. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to have anything to do with it. So anyway. All right, want to remind everybody about the special that's still going on with the Ultimate Combat Training Center in Draper and Mushin Self-Defense in North Salt Lake. These two fine martial arts training facilities bookend the Salt Lake Valley, and both of us are offering a free week throughout the holiday season here, and we'd like to invite you to come down, but you have to jump through a couple hoops to do so in order to get the free week at the Ultimate Combat Training Center. You're going to have to stop by one of our participating locations, Czech City in both Sandy and Draper, Aztec Highway, as well as Britain's Family Restaurant and Wasatch Deli on 9400 South and 7th East. Planet Play and Leatherheads right there in the VF Factory Outlet Mall. And then Wingnuts out there in Draper. We spoke to the owner of that place last week. So, and what was it, Rockstar Hair Salon?
Yes.
Yeah, because my hair looks like a rock star over there. So if you stop by any of those places, you can pick up a free week to the Ultimate Combat Training Center. Where can they get a free voucher to the Mushin Self-Defense?
Well, they are still stuck with Papa Murphy's Pizza in North Salt Lake, or just come straight into Mushin. They won't even make you jump through a hoop.
How have you guys dealt with the power outage up there? Have you guys been able to train?
Well, we trained in the dark. I know, it's funny, but
that is cool.
We spent about 2 hours in the dark last Saturday, and it was awesome, man.
We've done that before, and I think, honestly, you'll get some good training sessions out of it, and really, your hardcore people are going to be there. They're going to be there whether the lights are on or not. They're going to show up, and I think I've had some of my best training sessions like that.
Yeah, it was cool. There was a little bit of giggling, which got a little concerning at one point. But
you wonder what's going on over there.
Those brand new mat warmers are heaters aren't getting used then, huh?
Fortunately, the power was on right before we started, so everything got warmed up, and then it went out on us.
All right.
We just went for it.
So for any information on the Ultimate Combat Training Center, give us a call at 967-5295, and Mushin Self-Defense, you can just Google that.
You always give me a hard time about that one, but
it works. That's the best way to find you.
Every time someone calls the gym and I say, how did you hear about us? I said, I Googled you.
There you go.
Well, all right, then. Keep doing that, everybody.
Yeah. All right. So now we do have a poll question this week, and the poll question is, I'm not sure if you're aware, but this last week, the MMA Awards went on, and I'm still trying to get to the bottom of what this MMA award thing is all about, because it seems as though a media source, and we haven't been able to confirm, I think Joe's looking up to find out right now which media source it was, put on some MMA awards. And I didn't really like all the categories that they put forth, and so I'm kind of throwing that out there. I'm asking you, our listeners, to call in and tell us, hey, if you thought the categories were appropriate, if you agreed with the people that won those categories, and then, lastly, just, do you have any suggestions for the award show moving forward? This is something we used to do with the Ultimate Combat. We used to put together a year-end show. It highlighted all the best action of the previous year, and we recognized the gyms, the coaches, the fighters, but mostly we recognized those moments in time that I think you'll never forget. I'll never forget a post-fight interview when Brandon Kiser tells me, I've taught my students how to win graciously, and tonight I'm going to teach them how to lose graciously. And it was in a fight that he should have won. He got robbed of the judge, but it was just such a gentlemanly gesture that was a moment in time that we felt, that was the best post-fight interview we've ever had. And so that's what we focused on. But it seems like these guys are focusing more on people, or just like trying to give accolades to, I guess, like I said, just people.
Well, it'll be interesting to see when they air this. I understand it hasn't aired yet, but do they try and build more of that kind of show that you used to do with the UC, where we get to really relive those moments from the year, or do they just honor the people? You
guys saw the last year's one, right? Did they do any of that?
I can't remember really. It was we saw.
I was drinking at the time.
No, I can't remember how it went down. I think it was 2 years ago when we saw it.
Okay.
So it was quite a while ago. But I did look it up, and it's Fighters Only magazine puts it on.
So a media source was okay. Well, I don't know. And again, we don't know who was doing the voting.
No.
Because in most award shows, it's either the media or all members of the media, and so we would have probably been involved.
I'm guessing with it being Fighters Only magazine, it's probably their writers and their editors and stuff like that.
Really quickly, I'm going to touch on the what did go on, and again, we'd like to hear your feedback. But the International Fighter of the Year, Alistair Overeem. Brandon, I think you put this best on your Facebook page. What the heck's an international fighter? Aren't they all international fighters? Don't we all? Anyway, so that was Alistair Overeem, and I'm going to touch on we had some comments before the show started about what you felt about Alistair Overeem winning that. Gym of the Year, Black House Gym. And I'm not really sure how you delineate between Gym of the Year and Coach of the Year, but Gym of the Year is Black House. Referee of the Year, Herb Dean. Comeback of the Year, Sheikh Congo. Best technical equipment. I don't even know what the heck that means. I guess, okay, it's these people that make MMA training gear. And Everlast won that, which really surprises me. And I want to maybe talk to Chris during the break here, because Chris owns Aztec Highway, and he sells this kind of stuff, and maybe he can give us some insight. Everlast to me has never been
I was shocked by that result.
The top of my list at all.
I'm wondering if Everlast makes the UFC gloves. Because everything on here is pretty much, these are the UFC awards. Come on now. Everything on here is UFC.
Well, and don't you think it should be? I mean, I don't know. It just seems
I
agree.
MMA
yes. Awards.
But I don't think they do, because I know where they get their stuff made, and I think Chris could probably tell us where they get made. I don't think they do. Journalist of the Year, Ariel Helwani.
Who's that guy?
Bless you. I don't know who that guy is.
He's not Jordan Breen. That's who he is.
Or Robertina, the MMA babe.
Robertina should have been my vote anyway. She's
the only reporter that went down and chased down Rampage through the back garage and got an interview.
And nearly passed out when she saw Joe Rogan.
and didn't notice GSP.
All right. Obviously, I didn't get it for a reason.
Next year, Robertina.
Next year.
Coach of the Year, Greg Jackson. Now, again, I don't know how you delineate Gym of the Year or Coach of the Year, but Greg Jackson is the coach. If only he were at Black House, wouldn't they be a force? Best lifestyle clothing, and again, I'm going to try to touch into Chris here on this. Tap Out won that one. And Promotion of the Year, obviously the UFC won that. Media Source of the Year, MMAJunkie.com, which I think, that's arguable since in there. I noticed that Sure Dog did get a mention in there. They were nominated.
Ultimate Combat Radio didn't get our nominee.
I don't understand that. I don't understand that. All right, so best technical clothing again. Oh, technical clothing is Bad Boy, and I like their stuff. I like it's pretty cool. Personality of the year, Joe Rogan. Again, I don't know how Robertina wasn't even in that running. Female fighter of the year, Miesha Tate. Entrance of the year, Jason Mayhem Miller. And then breakthrough fighter of the year, Donald Cerrone, who's been on this program. Submission of the year, Chen Sung-jung.
That's the twister, the
all
wrestler's guillotine.
right, okay. And ring girl of the year, this was clearly they got it right on this one. Ariane Celeste. I got to applaud whoever was in charge of that. They did awesome. Leading man of the year, Dana White.
Shocker.
Yeah, well, and he is justifiably.
Can you name another leading man?
No.
Well, Fertitta's putting the money in there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was Fertitta and Dana White. They're both UFC.
Yeah, well, I guess Fertitta was in the competition.
Yeah, he was a nominee.
Awesome. Fight of the year, Edgar versus Maynard.
I disagree.
I want to quickly touch on this. Maybe you prematurely gave this away because Fight of the Year happened after probably the voting was over, and because Dan Henderson and Shogun has to be at least in the ring. They weren't even mentioned in there.
Yeah, and I'm guessing it's a fiscal year type thing. And
it's December.
Yeah.
Wait a couple weeks, man.
Yeah, really, because that should have been fight of the decade for sure.
All right, so fighter of the year. What? John Jones? What? Look, man, he had a great year. He's not Anderson Silva, and he's not GSP. He's just neither one.
But you just said he had a great year.
He had a great year. Yes,
so he was
did.
fighter of this year.
No, he's not. He wasn't. He had a great year for him. I still put him at least 2 or 3.
You're not agreeing that GSP
Dan Henderson had the best year of anyone. He beat Fedor and he beat Shogun.
Yeah.
You can't even try to say that John Jones's opponents were even in that same ilk at all. So. I just can't wait till Henderson beats him up anyway.
I'm a little upset that Chael Sonnen isn't anywhere on these things.
Well, he was the host of the show,
so
maybe that has something. And you can't be the host and win prizes.
What would
Chael Sonnen can?
Well, I would. Yeah, Chael Sonnen could.
What would you have voted for him in? I mean, what
personality of the year.
Yeah, I agree. Personality of the year. Don't you think?
Over Joe Rogan, you're the biggest Joe Rogan fan on the planet.
I'm also the biggest Chael Sonnen fan on the planet.
Wow. All right. Well, okay. All right. Well, and I wouldn't argue with that at all. So that's kind of my just overview, and I'm going to get what you guys feel about that. And I'd love to have our listeners call in. Robertina, how would they go about doing that?
They can call us at 45 or 670-1280. Text us at 53318. Text in zone and then whatever you have to say. Or facebook.com/Ultimate Combat Radio.
All right, and I almost forgot about Badass of the Week here. And this is an unprecedented moment because we've never had 2 Badasses of the Week this year, and I'm going to have to do it.
I think you prematurely named
I
Badass of the Week, too.
I did. I came out a little quick, man. It's not the first time that's happened.
We can blame that on Kiser, though, I think.
Well, no, look, man, you can't take it away from this guy. After last Sunday, there was no doubt who my pick was for Badass of the Week. Jeff Monson put on such a show of heart and perseverance that we seldom see it in any sport, really, but let alone MMA. And he showed why he is an American hero. He showed why it was so meaningful for the Russians to knock him up because he's that guy. He really is the guy that you have to kill to beat. And so I'm giving it to him. And he lost. He lost the fight, but he's still, in my mind, he won more respect than had he won that fight. In my mind, just the way he went down. So,
and if you listen to Fedor's post-fight interviews and stuff, and he talks about how tough Jeff Monson was and how much heart he had in that fight, and he has a lot more respect for him after the fight.
Has Robertina's dad confirmed that's what he was really saying?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Robertina tells me her dad speaks Russian and he listens to the interviews and he's like, "That's not what he just said."
He gets so mad sometimes.
They censor a lot of what he says.
All those Russians drink vodka. Who knows what they're saying?
Exactly. All right. So now there was a real life situation that presented itself when a young man who was a jiu-jitsu student, his dad had loaded him and his 9-year-old daughter into a truck. He's an 11-year-old kid, and dad, for whatever reason, he was going back to the back of the truck to check something, and just in that little window, a guy hops in the truck and was going to take off with the truck, and the 2 kids were in there, and the little kid sensed that his younger daughter was in danger, attacked this guy, put his arm across his throat, and stopped him from driving off with his little sister.
Jay Yano didn't have the day off yesterday, so he planned to take his 2 young children to work with him. As his kids loaded into his truck parked right outside their McCully home, Yano left the vehicle running as he quickly walked to the rear of the truck.
And that's when I noticed the guy walking from across the street coming over,
Yano says within a split second, his truck began to pull forward with his 9-year-old daughter and 11-year-old son inside. He ran to the driver's side door.
I opened the car door. I saw my son holding the guy down with his left hand.
I just grabbed his shoulder and started punching his face, telling him to get out of the truck.
Jonah Yano says he wasn't scared. His younger sister was in trouble and he needed to help her. Despite being much smaller than the 35-year-old suspect, Jonah gave his father enough time to pull the suspect out of the truck. Yano says after ensuring the kids were safe with a neighbor, he ran after the suspect who had fled. He caught up with them here a couple blocks away and held him down until police arrived.
If my son didn't jump in, he would have just taken off with her down the street.
Brooklyn knows she'll always have a big brother looking out for her. Jonah jokes little sis owes him.
$500. I thanked him and I hugged him.
His parents say their son's years of jiu-jitsu practice came in handy, but beyond that, it was a brotherly love which can't be taught.
And we don't know how bad it could have been, but I'm proud of him.
Shane Enright, KITV4 News.
How old was he?
He's 11 years old. And he's just this little skinny little thing.
It says he physically held him down. Held this man
until
down.
his dad was able to come around and help him as well. The guy ended up ultimately, he got out and ran. The dad chased him down and caught him, held him for the police. So total legit story. Nobody's making this up. Nobody's exaggerating. And, he says to his little sister that she owes him $500 for doing that.
and he's a jiu-jitsu student too.
And that's what he said, where he got the, first of all, he knew how to put his forearm across the kid's throat, and that's where he got the courage to do it. He said, so how do you argue that? So
what a stud.
Here's this kid, though. He's in great company. He shares Ultimate Combat Radio's Badass of the Week with a pretty bad guy in Jeff Monson, so you can't really top that. And then if you want to see more about this, I posted it up on our Facebook page. You can go check that out. And where's that Facebook page?
It is Ultimate Combat Radio.
All right, perfect. Coming up on the program, Martin Campman last week didn't show up. He bailed on us, but he had an issue with the time difference.
It's tough.
So, it's Pacific time, Mountain time. We got it all figured out this week. I just texted him. He's ready to go. So he's going to be on the air with us when we come back. And then we're going to be breaking down the MMA Awards some more and the Ultimate Fighter finale, all that good stuff when we come back on Ultimate Combat Radio, brought to you by Aztec Highway.